During my night shift, the ER called me for a consultation. A car fire had caused severe burns to 2 people. When I arrived, I was dumbfounded. The burn victims were Marcus, my husband, and Chloe, his little secretary. The critical thing was that their lower bodies were completely stuck together and couldn't be separated. They were lying on the hospital bed in a strange, entangled position. Familiar colleagues looked at me with a mix of sympathy and gossip. I calmly took the patient chart and said, since they can't be used anyway, let's just cut them apart. Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel and tell us where you're listening from in the comments. As soon as I spoke, the operating fell into a deathly silence. Everyone's gaze fixed on Marcus and me. Marcus's usually fiery temper stopped short when he heard my voice. He abruptly turned his head to look at me, dressed in a lab coat and wearing a mask. "Gee, Grace? What are you doing here?" Marcus slowly began to realize his fear. 2 days ago, he told me he was going on a business trip for a few days, saying the company had urgent matters to attend to. The night he left was also my birthday. He left before I even blew out the candles. How urgent could it have been for a man who never neglected me to break his own strict rule for the first time and just leave? Only tonight did I learn that he, who had always been cool and reserved, had a multitude of tricks up his sleeve and a chaotic private life when it came to other women. No wonder he always refused whenever I brought up having children, saying he was exhausted from work. I even felt sorry for him because of it. The real reason for everything was that his cheating had drained all his energy. At this moment, the 2 of them were uncovered below the waist, such a humiliating scene exposed to everyone's eyes. It was like an invisible slap, hitting Marcus, and hitting me too. I felt all the blood rush to my head. The hand holding the scalpel trembled uncontrollably. The resentment and fury of being humiliated churned in my chest, aching so much it was hard to breathe. "There's no wife here. Please call me Dr. Grace." Marcus's legs were still throbbing from the burns. If he got too agitated, Chloe, who was pressed tightly against him, would also be hurt. "Marcus, don't move. I'm in so much pain." She called him Marcus so familiarly. "Grace, I'm sorry. I was just confused for a moment and did something foolish." He glanced at the scalpel in my hand and swallowed hard. He knew I was fiery and wouldn't tolerate any disrespect. Ignoring all the pain, he pleaded, "Grace, please calm down. With your medical skills, you must have a way to separate Chloe and me." "No, there's only one way, cut them apart." "No, there must be another way," Marcus begged, his voice laced with tears. As a professional doctor, I wasn't lying, nor was I using my position for personal revenge. I was simply stating the truth. But's face turned whiter than my lab coat. "No, I want another doctor. My wife might let emotions cloud her judgment, and it will affect her judgment." Outside the operating door, an anxious, heavy voice rang out. It was Eleanor, Marcus's mother, my mother-in-law. When Michael walked in, he told me to put down the scalpel and step out for some air, saying he would handle it. I took a deep breath, trying to stay as calm as possible. As I stepped out the door, Eleanor slapped me across the face. "Grace, this is all your fault. If you weren't so useless and couldn't keep Marcus in line, why would he rather go out and seek pleasure with someone else than come home to you? If it weren't for you, none of this would have happened," almost costing them their lives. A burning pain spread across my face, but I didn't dodge. I let her hit and scold me. This was because her family had once been kind to mine. When my family fell on hard times, William had offered much-needed help. I remembered that kindness to this day. Which was why I had endured Eleanor's occasional scolding. This time, however, I didn't endure it. I remember 2 years ago, when William was cheating, you found out and gathered everyone to make a scene, saying William was an animal and calling the other woman despicable. So, now that it's your son, he's the one who cheated, but I'm the one at fault? Eleanor was choked by my words, her aged face flushing crimson with anger. "You're rebelling against me now, daring to talk back, aren't you? What are you doing out here? Get back in there and save my son. If anything bad happens to him, I'll never forgive you." Suddenly, male and female cries of pain erupted from the operating. If they were forcefully separated, they would surely be in agony. But there was another method that could work. When I turned to go back in, the calculating Chloe, sensing my intention, preempted me by saying, I'd decided to open my uterus. Only this way will work." As soon as she spoke, Marcus looked at her with gratitude. "You're the only one who truly cares about me, unlike some people who are cold and heartless." The some people he referred to as me. Yet he never took responsibility for his actions. How wild had he been to get stuck together like that, and still have the nerve to blame me for not saving him? I gritted my teeth, suppressing my burning anger, and picked up the surgical tools. I had performed surgeries like this for others before, and back then, I felt a surge of righteous indignation for the man's wife. I remembered my colleagues telling me, Grace's husband is the best, so loyal, and he loves Grace so much. But now, reality had slapped me hard, making my ears ring with pain. After the surgery, I took off my sterile gloves and walked to the restroom, washing my hands over and over again under the faucet. Sarah came over, sighing as she comforted me. Grace, are you all right? Only then did I notice that my fair hands were red from my own vigorous scrubbing. I'm fine, don't worry. Although I said that, my heart felt squeezed tight, aching. I didn't even realize when the tears started to fall. I wiped them away, not wanting anyone to see my disarray. Just as I turned to leave, Marcus, disregarding his wounds, forcefully grabbed me and launched into a furious tirade. Are you happy now? If you hadn't been so heartless and abandoned me to my fate, Chloe wouldn't have had to use that method to protect me. Before I could react, Eleanor's face flushed with anger as she delivered a second slap across my face. If hadn't insisted Marcus marry you, I would have never allowed a bad luck charm like you into our home. With that, she shoved me hard to the floor. Chloe was already a month pregnant, and just now she started complaining of pain and spotting. The baby can't be saved now. Aren't you called a miracle worker? If you are, there's no way you couldn't save it. That means you did it on purpose. Marcus also looked at me with disappointment. You've disappointed me so much. Even though I wronged you, I've apologized, isn't that enough? Do you really have to get revenge? Facing their accusations, I suddenly started to laugh, but as I laughed, I felt an immense sorrow. My husband cheated, I was forced to perform surgery to separate them, his mistress miscarried, yet everything was blamed on me. I stood up and slapped Marcus across the face. How did the baby die? Wasn't it because you two were going at it too hard, completely stuck together, that it caused a series of reactions? And now, you're twisting the facts and blaming me. How dare you hit my son? Eleanor's eyes were wide with fury. Yes, not only will I hit him, but I'm also divorcing him. Marcus looked at me, bewildered, pressing his lips together, his expression complex. In his memory, I had never shown an unstable side, I was always gentle and elegant. I thought I would cry, but I didn't. Perhaps I had simply given up on Marcus. Eleanor, however, clapped her hands. Good. I've wanted you two to divorce for a long time. Mom, don't say that. I would never divorce Grace. Grace, quickly apologize to Mom, don't make a scene. I composed myself, swallowing the bitterness. I've done nothing wrong. I don't need to apologize to either of you, nor am I making a scene. Marcus's face began to darken. Chloe's baby is gone because of your heartlessness, yet she doesn't blame you. She even advised me to apologize to you properly, and she'll apologize to you herself once she recovers. That young girl is even gentler and more sensible than you. Even during that dangerous situation just now, she didn't cry or complain. Her heart truly only belongs to me. As he spoke these words so lightly, he never considered the harm they inflicted on me. It was like a murderous knife, each thrust fatal. Looking at this face I had loved for so many years, for the first time, I felt such a profound sense of strangeness. Stripping away his current facade of hypocrisy, he too began to become aggressive, just like his mother. And what about you two? Is this fair to me? A flicker of guilt crossed Marcus's face, and his voice softened. Grace, I know you're hurting too. But these things have happened, and we have to face them and accept them. When he finished speaking, I closed my eyes, firm in my resolve. This divorce was happening. As I turned to leave, Marcus called out behind me. Grace, come back. I stayed outside for a long time, sitting through the night. As dawn broke, I took out my wedding ring and threw it away, bidding farewell to everything from the past. For the next few days, I didn't go home, choosing instead to stay at the hospital. Marcus and Chloe also left the hospital. To spite me, he directly took Chloe home to recuperate, indulging her with good food and drink. Marcus thought this would make me chaotic, rushing home to find him. But he was wrong. A week passed, and I was nowhere to be seen. Just as he couldn't stand it anymore, I returned with the divorce papers. There were still some of my belongings left at Marcus's family home, and this return would resolve everything at once. As I walked in, I saw the family of three, laughing and chatting as they ate at the dining table. Marcus saw me, first, then spoke with a hint of pleasant surprise and triumph. See? You came back to me after all. I knew you were tough on the outside, but soft on the inside, unable to let go of me. Grace is back, come in and sit. Martha, prepare an extra pair of chopsticks. Chloe seemed to regard herself as the lady of the house, directly challenging me. The only reason she could be so blatant was Eleanor's approval and Marcus's favoritism towards her. Chloe has such good manners. Eleanor looked at me with a cold face, but when she looked at Chloe, she showered her with praise. They dared to talk about manners? If they truly had any, they would understand how shameless everything they were doing right now was, morally corrupt, even. Marcus walked over, and as he reached out to take my hand, I pulled away. I hope I'm not interrupting your little family reunion. I came back today, not because I still love you, but because of this. I placed the divorce papers in Marcus's surprised hand. Remember to sign them. I'm going to my room to pack my things now. Please move. No, Grace, are you serious? What else? The scandal of my husband cheating with his little secretary, and getting stuck together, is practically common knowledge. I thought you two might show some remorse, but no, you directly brought her home to recover. You may be shameless, but I still have my dignity. I bypassed him and went upstairs. The moment I entered my room, I was deeply pierced by the sight before my eyes. My room was a complete mess, my clothes and jewelry had been used. There was all sorts of clutter on the bed, with various lingering smells. What angered me even more was that the family heirloom bracelet my mother gave me before she passed away was now broken in half, lying on the floor, seemingly stomped on. At that moment, fury burned away my reason. I couldn't calm down. Marcus had actually let Chloe stay in my room. Grace. Chloe maliciously stepped on the bracelet on purpose. I almost picked up the broken family heirloom bracelet. Oh. I'm sorry, I didn't see it. Then she covered her mouth, pretending not to have seen it before stepping on the family heirloom bracelet. I picked up the family heirloom bracelet and confronted her. Who allowed you to stay in my room? And did you break this? Facing my accusation, she acted as if it was her right. She deliberately exposed the scarf around her neck, which was covered in hickeys of various sizes. Your room? That's laughable. Of course, I'm staying in my future room. You're just clinging on and refusing to leave, aren't you? Do you know what Marcus said when he was seeking pleasure with me? He said you were very boring. Heh heh. Only with me did he truly feel like a man. Faced with her mockery, I lost all patience. I slapped her across the face. Men like him are trash, you can have him. But you absolutely shouldn't have broken my family heirloom bracelet. Chloe clutched her red face and glared at me. How dare you hit me? I hit you because you deserved it. As prepared to retaliate, she suddenly remembered something. She deliberately slapped herself several times across the face, the sound loud enough for those downstairs to hear. I realized something was wrong. What are you doing? Of course, I'm going to frame you and force Marcus to divorce you. She smiled eerily, her face bearing a triumphant expression. Help me. Grace, I know I was wrong. Please don't hit me, I'll leave right now. Everything has nothing to do with Marcus. Please don't hate him. Moments later, Marcus walked in and, without question, shoved me with a slap. Whatever it is, take it out on me. Chloe has only just recovered, why are you hitting her? As I fell, my head hit the corner of the table, and beads of blood welled up on my forehead. Marcus didn't even glance at me, he was only focused on comforting Chloe, who wore a triumphant smile in his arms. I didn't hit her. She staged it herself. Enough. My eyes aren't blind. The coldness in Marcus's eyes finally made my heart grow cold. Eleanor also came in at that moment, carrying the divorce papers. Marcus snatched them, pulled out a pen, and signed his name without hesitation, then threw them at my face. Didn't you say you wanted a divorce? I'm granting it to you. But do you dare to sign? If you really wanted to leave, you would have already gone. Why would you come back? What a joke. For some reason, I wasn't sad. Instead, I felt a sense of relief. I carefully put away the divorce papers. There was no point in arguing with them anymore. Marcus was not only blind, but his heart was blind too. But I wasn't someone who would let herself be bullied without fighting back. Before I left, I picked up my phone, did a few taps, and sent Marcus a security footage. A year ago, he had installed a security camera himself, angled directly at the vanity table. After sending it, I realized there was nothing left here worth taking. With only the broken family heirloom bracelet clasped in my hand, I left this suffocating home without looking back. When received the video, he opened it and watched. His face went from calm to furious. Finally, he threw his phone at Chloe's face. Give me an explanation? Chloe's face still held a look of grievance, her eyes glistening with tears. She picked up the phone, confused. What's wrong, Marcus? Why are you so angry with me? At the same time, she glanced at the video on the phone. In an instant, her mind went blank, and she dropped the phone in fright. I didn't. Marcus looked at her evasive gaze and scoffed. Didn't? Do you take me for a fool? The evidence is overwhelming. Are you still going to lie? Chloe immediately stopped hiding and openly admitted it. That's right, Eleanor told me to do all of this. Marcus was stunned. All right, don't be angry. Anyway, you both signed, and Grace is gone. From now on, I'll take care of. She didn't finish her sentence before Marcus grabbed her by the neck. I told you long ago, I was just playing with you. Don't ever dream of replacing Grace. The anger and viciousness on Marcus's face started to frighten Chloe. Just as Chloe was about to suffocate, Eleanor walked in. Ah, Marcus, let her go. You're going to choke her to death. Death? I won't let her die that easily. Marcus glared at his mother with the same fierce intensity. Why are you looking at me like that? Is worth all this? Yes, she is, because I love her very much. As soon as he finished speaking, he shoved Chloe away. He had something to do now, hoping it wasn't too late. He was afraid I would also sign the divorce papers, which would mean our marital relationship was truly over. After all, Marcus knew exactly how I had left the house. As soon as he left, Chloe tried to chase after him but was pulled back by Eleanor. Mom, let go. I need to go get him back, I'm afraid. As spoke, she looked back at Eleanor. Her voice stopped short when she saw the sinister look on Eleanor's face. Who are you calling Mom? Don't just make up names. Neither you nor Grace is good enough for my son. Besides, you're just a mere secretary. I was only nice to you before as a ploy to get rid of Grace. Now that she's finally gone, there's no need to keep you around. What? Chloe's face was as white as a sheet. She never imagined she would become another Grace, merely a pawn used by Eleanor. No, I'm not leaving. I'm waiting for Marcus to come back. Smack. You have no right. Someone, throw her out. And don't ever let her back in. Chloe glared at Eleanor with hatred, struggling incessantly, but she was ultimately thrown out the door. Marcus drove, running several red lights, all the way to the hospital where I worked. He jumped out of the car and ran frantically, stumbling several times because he was in such a hurry. But he still couldn't find me because, before returning to Marcus's family home, I had already requested a month-long annual leave from the hospital. I hadn't had a vacation in years, so I decided to travel to clear my head during this unpleasant time. Marcus never saw me appear, only receiving divorce papers delivered by Sarah. He looked at the signature line, where Grace was written, and his eyes widened in disbelief. Grace actually dared to sign? She wasn't just throwing a tantrum? How was this possible? She loved me so much. Marcus's heart was in turmoil. He couldn't stand, nor could he sit. He clutched the divorce papers tightly in his hand, crumpling them into a wrinkled mess. Grace said before she left that she also sent the agreement to her lawyer. Tearing this one up won't do any good. Sarah, who hated men, was about to leave. Marcus quickly stopped her. Wait, do you know where she went? No, but she said she'd be back after the 1-month waiting period. This is when Marcus finally panicked. If didn't show up in that month, their marriage would be beyond saving. No, I have to find her and bring her back, no matter the cost. He called a friend. Help me track Grace's whereabouts. Whether by road, rail, boat, or plane, don't miss anything. I have to find out where she went. After giving instructions, Marcus returned home. He saw that I hadn't taken anything from the room except a few items that were very important to me, and he felt utterly defeated. Because all those clothes and bags were gifts from him. Not taking them meant she truly didn't want him anymore, including him. At this time, I was with a tour group in distant Colorado. Fortunately, I didn't experience any altitude sickness. I had long heard that this place was the closest to the heavens. Looking up, it felt as if I could touch a cloud with just a reach of my hand. They were so low, I couldn't bear to move. Counting the days, it wouldn't be long before the waiting period would be over, and I could officially get my divorce certificate. Watching a couple taking pictures in the distance reminded me of my first meeting with Marcus. We were young then. My grandfather and William were war buddies, and they occasionally visited each other. The adults always had endless topics to discuss, but the teenagers felt idle and bored. That's how I accidentally stumbled into Marcus's secret garden. At first, he was very resistant to me, not allowing me near him. And at that time, I was also quiet and reserved. Later, when our two families went hiking, Marcus was bitten by a snake. Having studied basic first aid, I instinctively sucked out the venom without thinking. That's when Marcus started to accept me, and later, he even became very clingy. Memories, like a movie, resurfaced unexpectedly. The memories remained, but the person was no longer the one I held dear. After spending a few days in Colorado, I followed the group to another location, to Aspen for skiing. I had once begged Marcus to come see the snow with me. As a southerner, I loved snow most of all. But he was always too busy, so busy that I eventually felt embarrassed to ask him again. I bent down, scooped up some snow in my hands, and was about to make a snowman out of interest when a voice suddenly called out to me. The person was Ethan, my college senior. He was gentle and refined. After college, he emigrated abroad with his parents, and I hadn't seen him since. Grace? It really is you. Long time no see, Ethan. We smiled at each other, as if there were 1,000 words to exchange. We chose a quiet spot, and just as we sat down, snow began to fall outside the pavilion. We and Northerners really complement each other. They love our oceans, and we love the falling snow. As soon as I spoke, I didn't expect to see a figure I utterly loathed in distance. Marcus had actually found me. Grace, I finally found you. You've driven me crazy during the time you've been gone. Marcus approached, moving closer. As he got closer, I noticed he seemed much thinner, with dark circles under his eyes. But his hands were restless. As soon as he got close, he tried to hug me. I took 2 steps back to avoid his hands but unexpectedly bumped into Ethan's arms. Marcus then noticed the man behind me and immediately his face darkened. Who is he? Were you with him all the time you were gone? Marcus was always cool and composed. I had never seen such a twisted, hateful, and out-of-control expression on his face. Not even when he treated me that way because of Chloe. I steadied myself and apologized to Ethan. I never imagined that my issues with Marcus would drag an innocent person into it. What nonsense are you talking about? Do you think everyone is like you, juggling multiple partners? Faced with my utterly furious yell, Marcus was momentarily stunned, hit by the truth of my words. Just a few more days, and we can officially get our divorce certificate. Isn't that what you wanted most? Why aren't you with Chloe? What are you doing here with me? Marcus quickly tried to explain. No, I wasn't. Before, I was just betting that you still cared about me, thinking you'd never bring yourself to sign, which is why I was so reckless with you. Grace, I know I was wrong. I've sent Chloe away, and the room has been thoroughly cleaned. Please come home with me, okay? Let's not get a divorce. As spoke, he reached out to take my hand, but I forcefully shook him off. It was as if he were something dirty, not to be touched. Do you know why I was avoiding you? I was afraid you'd suddenly go back on your word and persistently harass me. But now, I'm not afraid of your harassment anymore. Because no matter what you do, I am getting that divorce certificate after this month. When a man cheats, the fault doesn't lie with the her woman, but with his own restless heart. One leaves, and there will be a second and a third Chloe. Marcus stood there, his face distraught, unsure of what to do to make me change my mind. But I didn't waste any more words on him and turned to go back to my lodging. Ethan, having learned of my situation, silently stayed with me as I remained quiet. He found a flute and began to play a tune. I loved this song, it was eternal. In college, we used to play sonatas together in music class. I played the harp, and Ethan played the flute. Playing in perfect harmony, we performed the most beautiful melodies together. Thank you, Ethan. He stopped playing the flute and looked at me. Do you feel better? Much better. That's good. You know, even after all these years, I still understand your personality. If you're not talking, something's on your mind. You've weathered major storms, don't let this minor setback defeat you now. His words moved me, and suddenly I felt a sense of relief. Before I could speak, Marcus, who had been hiding in the shadows, approached again. You're still saying there's nothing between you two, yet he even understands your personality. Tell me honestly, are you determined to divorce me because of him? His noisy words pierced my ears. I frowned and glared at the furious Marcus, gritting his teeth. Since all this mess happened between us, he had never once looked for the reason within himself. He was the one who cheated, and he was also the one who acted self-righteously. If you think so, then so be it. I was tired. If this statement could make him give up hope, I didn't mind saying it. Under the silent eaves, all sound instantly ceased. Marcus stood frozen, helpless in the face of my fierce determination. But at that moment, Chloe's voice drifted over. Marcus, look, you haven't done anything wrong to her. When we were together, she was probably seeking pleasure with other men. The one who loves you most has always been me. As Emmer. Ged, I went up to her and gave her a heavy slap without hesitation. If you dare to slander me again, I'll send those humiliating pictures of you two stuck together to your parents for their appreciation. so they can see how they raised you to be a morally corrupt other woman. If you're not afraid to die, go ahead and try. Chloe clutched her red face, trembling with rage. But she dared not speak, only looking at Marcus, hoping he would speak up for her. But even his face was flushed crimson with embarrassment and anger. Ethan, however, feigned ignorance. What on earth? What do you mean, stuck together? I didn't hide anything and told them directly. They were cheating and got stuck together, unable to separate. I was the one who performed the surgery to separate them. Ethan let out an unrestrained laugh, and I suddenly thought he had a darkly humorous side to him. Enough, don't say any more. Yes, I made a mistake, but I've apologized to you. Can't you stop being so pushy and aggressive? Me, pushy and aggressive? What a joke. You're the one who chased me here and won't leave me alone. I didn't force you. The more I looked at Marcus's face, the more disgusted I felt. I just walked away, feeling I needed to wash my eyes out if I looked at him any longer. Seeing me about to leave, Marcus suddenly grabbed Ethan. She's still my wife, you should have some decency and not follow her. As soon as he finished, he raised his fist, intending to hit Ethan. I quickly shielded Ethan behind me. Marcus, I remember we both signed the divorce papers. Who are you calling wife? Go look in a mirror and see what a terrible person you are. Marcus's face turned black, then white, his hands clenched tightly, trembling with rage. Suddenly, consumed by rage, he coughed up blood. Seeing this, Chloe rushed to help him, but he pushed her away with one hand. Stop bothering me, get lost. I knew what he was thinking at that moment. He wanted to make me feel soft-hearted, to make me go over and help him. But I calmly said, it's just a little blood, you're not going to die. It was only then that Marcus understood that when I said I didn't want him, I truly meant it. He could only watch me leave. As soon as I was gone, he unleashed all his anger on Chloe. This is all your fault. Why did you come looking for me? If you hadn't shown up, Grace might have forgiven me. You deserve to die. Marcus lunged, choking Chloe by the neck. His uncontrolled rage made him look terrifying. Chloe was choked until her entire face turned purple. She kicked Marcus in the groin. He yelped in pain and released her. Then the two continued to struggle, eventually falling down the steps, with Marcus's legs suffering the most severe injury. When I heard about their situation, I felt no ripple of emotion. I could only say it was their just deserts. Marcus was sent to the hospital to treat his wounds. He called me, hoping I would come see him. I flatly refused. If I was going to let go, I would do so completely, without dragging things out. After my trip, I returned to work at the hospital. Because Leg was injured, our divorce proceedings were delayed. However, he used this as an excuse, constantly claiming he couldn't walk, trying to stall endlessly. I threw his recovery X-ray scans at his face. Stop pretending, you've been able to walk for ages. Remember to be at the county clerk's office on time tomorrow. Marcus, his face crestfallen, clutched my hand, his eyes quickly turning red, looking at me with a pleading tone. Grace, can we truly not go back? If you give me one more chance, I swear from now on, I will never cheat again, or else I'll be struck by lightning and suffer a terrible fate. I raised my hand and pried open Marcus's tightly clasped fingers, one by one. Your vows are worthless. I won't say the same words twice. Remember to be early tomorrow. Marcus finally understood how strong my resolve to divorce him was. The next morning, he arrived late. But I didn't give him time to delay, leading him directly into the county clerk's office. When the stamp fell, Marcus lowered his eyelids, his face ashen. He and I were finally officially divorced. As I walked out the door, Ethan drove up, buying a bouquet of roses and handing them to me. Congratulations on your fresh start. Thank you. Marcus chased after us, asking loudly, Grace, will you marry him? I didn't answer that question, instead looking up at a flock of birds flying in the distance. Marcus, I'm only 30 now. If I meet someone I like in the future, I'll definitely get married. Marcus smiled bitterly, tears welling up after getting his answer. When he returned, he threw a fit at his mother. He blamed her for always interfering in his marriage, making him feel suffocated. That night, he drank too much, drove under the influence, got into a car accident, and lay barely clinging to life on the main road. Meanwhile, Chloe held a grudge against Eleanor. She returned to Marcus's family home and had a severe quarrel with Eleanor. Both suffered numerous stab wounds and eventually bled to death. When I learned of their fate, I could only say it was their just deserts. My mood wasn't affected by them. From now on, I would take good care of myself. Thank you for listening to today's story. If you liked this video, please like and share it with friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments. Please share your opinions and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.